Hey, Bass Geek here, and today we're going to talk about how to fish a big spoon. So fishing a big spoon is actually pretty easy. You just have to make sure you've got the equipment to do it. Big in the big spoon, or Magnum spoons, is really relative. There's two types and two sizes of spoon that I tend to use, or really two brands. The first brand, of course, is the nickel spoons. The Ben Parkers are some of the staple spoons out there, especially when it comes to the Magnum spoons. Now, they do make several different sizes, but when it comes to nickels, their specialty are the big Magnums, and you just can't go wrong with them. They're made great. The hooks are great. I love the flash that they put on the hooks. It really gives it a little bit extra. The other spoon is by Strike King, and it is the Sexy Spoons. These spoons are kind of my go-to spoons. They're a little smaller. These are the 5-inch and the 4-inch spoons. I believe that's the sizes. I'll put a link in there so you can find them. But these are my go-to spoons. These are great spoons on lakes where you're trying to match the hatch. Maybe they're not the big gizzard shad and the big bass. So these spoons will work on pretty much any lake you have out there. So let's start with the equipment. The very first thing I want to have is a 7.3 to 7.6, even a 7'10". The longer rod, the better. I'm going to want a heavy to an extra heavy with a fast, at least a fast tip. I'm going to want a high-speed reel, so I'm going to want something in the 7s, the 8s, or even the 9s, so that I can pick line up fast. A lot of times the bass are going to hit it on the drop, and these spoons, you're going to be fishing them with a semi-slack line. So you want to follow it down, but you want to let the spoon free fall. So when they hit it, you're going to feel it, you're going to have to take up line and set the hook quickly. So a high-speed reel and a long rod and fast action are key. You want a good stiff backbone to drive those hooks home and get that fish in. You don't want to play the fish. You want to make sure that you crank that fish, get it to the boat, because it's a lot of metal hanging out of his mouth that he can shake around and throw on a big treble hook before you get him in. So when you're casting a big spoon or a Magnum spoon, you're going to want to make sure that you're really throwing it. It's just like casting a big swim bait. You're not drawing back, loading the rod and, whipping it out there. You're making more of a heave, like surf casting, or casting into the surf. So you're going to want to let it fall on a semi-slack line. And what that means is the flutter spoon, when it hits the water, it's going to spin and flutter. It's going to kind of kick up. And then it's going to come back down, it's going to drop. It's going to flutter around, and then it's going to drop. So what I do as I see it stop taking line is I begin to feed it a little bit of line. So when it makes that fast drop, I can give it a little bit of line as it falls. You want to make a cast past your target. Now the retrieve, you can retrieve it two different ways. The two ways I retrieve it, one is going to be just a reel. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take up my slack and I'm just going to reel. And I'm going to let it fall again on slack line, and I'm going to reel again. I can feel it falling. It's on the bottom. The other retrieve, and the more common retrieve, is going to be, you're going to reel down, extend your hands in front of you, and you're just going to rip it up off the bottom. I'm going to follow my line until it's on the bottom. I'm going to reel down again, and I'm going to rip it up again. I'm going to follow, I'm going to reel, and I'm going to rip. And I'm going to do this all the way back to the boat. All the way back to the boat is very important. because you may have a fish follow this bait until the very last rip under the boat. And then as I'm bringing it back up to the boat, I go ahead and give it some quick pumps just to entice any bass into hitting it as it comes through the water column. So just remember, equipment is key. One thing that I left out earlier is that 90% of the time I'm throwing this on 20-pound monofilament. Now you can throw it on braid. I would recommend mono if you're in clear water. I would also recommend downsizing in clear water. Match the hatch. Spoons, and like I said, there's several sizes of spoons out there, and these things are great baits during the summer when they get out there and they're super active. Target areas, bridge pilings, long points, rock humps, anywhere you can find bass that are schooled up. And remember, make a cast just slightly past them and work it through the school. You can actually make a cast right on top of their head and let it fall straight through them sometimes. Let the fish dictate which way is going to work best and get you bit most. So like I said, fishing a spoon is actually very simple. You just have to have the right equipment. Let me know if this helps you guys out. I do plan on doing a video where I show you the places I target with deep water, offshore structure, and how I go about finding these places. I'm hoping next week I'm going to go to a lake that I haven't fished during the summer, so I'm going to look for some new deep schools, and hopefully I'll take you guys on the ride along with me. Hopefully we'll find something. Unfortunately, in my area right now, because of a tremendous amount of rain, the water temperatures haven't quite reached that peak offshore temperature yet, and so the bass are, for some reason, staying shallow. We're about 2 weeks behind, and right now it's looking like we're going to be about 3 weeks behind. But you know, we just jumped into summer, so I'm sure the offshore bite's going to get here. We'll see how it goes. Like I said, it's my favorite time of the year. Sometimes you know, due to weather conditions, it's a longer bite than it is other years, and we'll see what happens. We'll adapt and we'll figure it out. But let me know if this helped you out, and if you have any other questions about fishing spoons, flutter spoons, casting spoons, whatever you want to call them. As always, questions and comments in the comment section below. If you have any questions about this, or if you want to see other videos, let me know. I'll put them together for you. Like it if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe, and you guys rock. Oh, damn! What the? Wow!